Alaikum. I just want to say this. From my understanding, the other day, the United States Congress passed a resolution where they declare that being anti-Zionist is the same as being anti-Semitic. I shared a couple videos with you guys on how that understanding is not only ignorant and ludicrous, but just quite illogical. I shared with how, and you can study this for yourself, look in the dictionary and check the definition of what it is to be a Semite or to be Semitic. It's not restricted to Jewish people. Is also Arab people. They're Semitic people too. They are biologically Semitic. So to be against the ceasefire, to be pro-Zionist, to be pro-Israeli, is actually being anti-Semitic. And this is definitely an infringement on our constitutional rights. This is a federal violation on behalf of the Congress, on behalf of the United States government. There is something in the Constitution that says if you believe that this Constitution is wrong, you have the right to abolish the Constitution. So my message to the government is, if you're going to infringe with our constitutional rights, which is the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, then you might as well abolish the Constitution. Because as long as the Constitution prevails in this country, as long as the United States Constitution is the law, we're going to continue to speak out against Zionism. We're going to continue to speak out and call for a ceasefire now. We're going to continue to speak out and call on Israel to stop this bombing, stop this senseless murder of men, women, children, and babies, right? So we're going to continue to stop that because we are protected by the United States Constitution to do so. And those companies, those places that are firing people for doing that, they're also violating the Constitution. Even though they may say they have a right to fire people willfully for no reason, there is a loophole on that, unfortunately. But still, the Constitution, the United States Constitution protects our right to express what needs to be expressed. And we're going to continue to do that. And if it's going to be against the law for us to speak out like this, listen to what Dr. Martin Luther King said. He said, an unjust law is no law at all. And that would be an unjust law. And what the United States government, the Congress, has passed is an unjust law. So any law that is unjust like that needs to be broken. It needs to be protested, right? And the late representative from Georgia, John Lewis, who was a former civil rights leader, he said and emphasized the importance of making good trouble. Well, it's time to make good trouble against unjust laws, against anything that goes against the very fiber of the United States Constitution. This is where who determines who are the real Americans on this, right? Unfortunately, our government, they do not represent the American people. Our government are traitors. They're the Benedict Arnolds to another power outside of this country. we actually are under another set of colonialism here in the United States. It just so happens that through AIPAC, which is the American Israel Political Action Committee, we're actually under Israeli colonialism. That's right. We're under Israeli colonialism through AIPAC and also with the Christian Zionist movement. So, unfortunately, we're under another set of colonial rules, like this country was under the British. But I forgot, already this country has already been colonized, right? Since what? Hundreds of years ago, 300 years ago, or 400 years ago? This piece of land has been colonized since then. So really, this country is going through a triple colonialism. And all forms of colonialism has got to go. Yeah. Because this land belongs to the native indigenous people. Right? Just like Palestine belongs to the Palestinians, including the land you call Israel. It belongs to the Palestinians because they're indigenous to that land. Right? And the same way with this part of the world, it belongs to the native indigenous people. Just like South Africa belonged to the black African people. Right? So, really, it's time to fight all forms of colonialism and get rid of all forms of colonialism. But at least let's get rid of this colonialism, this part of colonialism that we should easily get rid of, which is the Israeli colonialism, because that's what we're under now. Let's free America from this. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to everyone else.